Previously on Fate, Luck, and Karma, we heard how Patton Oswalt once provided the voice of Ghostbuster mascot Mowgli.
I bet you're here for the ghostbusting job, aren't you?
Dean welcomed Kumail Nanjiani to the Ghostbusters family.
You are going to be bothered now by middle-aged men with proton packs on their back, wanting autographs and photographs.
Jay asked if his co-hosts, while presenting on a Ghostbusters podcast, if they knew of a movie called Ghostbusters.
Those blokes with lasers.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah. The vacuum cleaners on the back. I know that one.
And things got a little sweary, but don't worry, we keep it family-friendly.
Well, then maybe my theory is correct. You can keep the $5. I've had it.
Fate, luck, and karma. Give us half an hour and we'll give you the Ghostbusters world.
You are listening to the West Midlands Ghostbusters.
Call it fate, call it luck, call it karma.
You're listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, a Ghostbusters fan podcast from the West Midlands Ghostbusters.
Do not adjust your earbuds, dear listener. You have not accidentally tuned in to some kind of sultry late-night radio show. You are listening to Fate, Luck and Karma, but you're also hearing the side effects of apparently an upper respiratory tract infection. So, that's just a beautiful thing to start a podcast off with. I'm Dean Riley, and I will be doing my very, very best to make it through the next half hour with you. But as always, it doesn't matter if I don't, because we have three far more capable hosts than I. I am joined by
Lee Lawrence. I'm back.
Hey!
G Wood.
Theo Wilson.
Yeah, we're back. Like four horsemen of the throat-infected apocalypse. We are back after all sorts of dramas that meant that we couldn't come together as a team last time round for episode 2. Is it a coincidence that there were less listeners on the last fortnight's episode? I don't think so. I think it's the fact that Lee brings borderline cult level following with him. And if he doesn't rock up, then neither do his acolytes, neither do his listeners. But, gentlemen, how are we all? Talk amongst yourselves for a bit, because I need to drink stuff so my voice sticks around a little bit longer.
Yeah, all good. It's good to have Lee back, though.
Yes, I had some connection issues. I blame Kilowatt, but I had some connection issues last time, so unfortunately I couldn't join you guys.
You were missed.
Yeah, you were missed, mate. It is good to have you back on the airwaves.
Yay! Unwanted!
Yes.
Yeah, it does feel more complete. It feels more complete now we're back all in the same room together, virtually speaking. All right, and so Ghostbusters news this week, guys. I think we got a bit spoiled over the last couple of episodes. We've had an absolute embarrassment of Ghostbusters news, but over the last fortnight, actually not so much. We've got a few little bits and bobs that we can talk about. Let's maybe start off by revisiting the fact that Kurt Fuller has gone on record and said that if the should we call it Firehouse? Should we still call it Firehouse? Should we call it Hell's Kitchen? We need a Fate, Luck and Karma executive decision on this one, because calling it the Afterlife sequel is getting a bit long-winded.
Afterlife.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Afterlife, yeah.
After Afterlife. Okay, yeah, all right, that's it. And that'll be trending on social media before you know it. So, Kurt Fuller has hashtag trending, hashtag Fate, Luck and Karma, hashtag Afterlife. So Kurt Fuller has gone on record saying that he would be more than happy to reprise his role as basically the not quite as good villain. You know, he's sort of a watered down Walter Peck in many ways. Jack Hardmire from Ghostbusters 2. Gentlemen, do we care?
Yes, personally. I think it'd be nice to see him again. I mean, not quite like, hey, I'm in the movie, and then he's gone, but in some form or capacity, I think it'd be nice to see him again.
Like cameo. Be like a welcome nod to the originals.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to have to say I want Moranis back. I want Tully back in. Yeah, it'd be nice to have anyone from the old films back. bit of nostalgia, but yeah, until they declare Tully back in the ring,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not with it.
Struggling to get into his car, or
Yeah.
or-
I really like that.
But
Yeah,
he
let
gets
me in.
possessed, he gets depossessed, and he's just like, not again.
Well, we will see. He's a bit of a busy man, is Kurt Fuller. He is actually appearing right now. He's got a recurring role in a TV series called Evil, which I must confess I haven't seen. Gentlemen, does that ring a bell with you guys?
I haven't seen that, I'm afraid.
Nope, not me
Drawing a
either.
blank on that one. 100% of us are like, he's in what? Sorry?
What has he actually done since Ghostbusters? Like what? Yeah, I know he's been in a few
Well,
things.
Jay,
He was in Supernatural.
I'm glad you asked.
Let's discuss.
He was in Supernatural.
He's been in quite a lot, actually. So I'm just looking at his IMDb at the moment. So he's got 2 upcoming projects on the books. One is a movie called The Potters, and then another one is a television series called The Elevator. But since Ghostbusters, let's have a look at his movie career since Ghostbusters. Scroll. Wow, this is when you realise that Ghostbusters is not a new movie, when you just have to keep on scrolling to get back to 1989. Where is it? Ghostbusters 2. Okay, so after that, he appeared in a WWF Wrestling Challenge episode. Nice. He worked on Bonfire of the Vanities. He worked on... he was in Quantum Leap. Okay. Had an appearance in Wayne's World. Okay. Party Time, excellent. LA Law, Murder, She Wrote. Come on, the lovely Angela Lansbury.
Wow.
Angela.
Rest in power, Angela. Diagnosis Murder, so he's getting a bit typecast here, potentially. Time Cop, Chicago Hope, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, he was in Scary Movie.
Oh, God, he was
Malcolm in the
Time Cop?
Middle, Ally McBeal, The West Wing. Oh, hello. Okay. Judging Amy, Monk. He was in House MD, etc., etc., etc. So the boy's been busy since 1989, all things considered.
Let's hope he can cram some Ghostbusters into his busy schedule.
Well, this is the slightly embarrassing thing. Apparently, the journalist that interviewed him suggested that the filming was taking place in New York, and he actually went on record in that interview saying, well, I'm in New York right now. Why don't they come and see me? But obviously, he was slightly misled because at the time, the production was and still is currently filming in the United Kingdom. So you can rock up at New York if you want to, sir, but... yeah, you might be having to wait a while. Who knows? You got to imagine, though, at some point, the Ghostbusters crew are going to end up back in actual New York City, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I have
You've got to.
It kind of has to be.
Yeah, it's if not for just some city shots and things like that, they've got to rock back over at some point.
Got to provide some hustle and bustle.
Well, those crowd scenes at the end of the first Ghostbusters movie are pretty iconic, right? When you've got the Ghostbusters All Right guy, and you've got the dancing Hare Krishna guy, and you've got the... Did you guys ever notice the Catholic priests that aren't crossing themselves properly? Go back and watch it. They mess up.
Yes.
They're obviously not real Catholics, right? Because they do the whole spectacle, testicles, wallet, and watch thing, but they do it the wrong way round. So, yeah, as a...
What? Watch spectacles, testicles, and...
They did the spectacles and the testicles part right, but then they do watch, wallet, rather than wallet, watch. Check it out. It looks screamingly, obviously wrong. And I'm like, you fail. Jesus is judging you. You're not a real Catholic.
Shame on you.
Yeah, another reason that you will burn in hell. Number 1, you've appeared in a movie about the paranormal. Number 2, you can't do spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch properly.
Just imagine him looking down. God damn it, Tim. Sorry, Dad, but...
Why has Jesus never come back as a ghost in any film ever?
Well, we have just got through, it sounds like it's been a trial. We have just come out the other side of the Easter holidays here in the United Kingdom.
The Festival of Paranormal Jesus.
The Festival of Paranormal Jesus. By the way, just as an aside, I know we spoke about the last time we were all together, but Theo, we didn't give a shout out to probably the unsung hero of MegaCon, Skateboarding Jesus. Did you see Skateboarding Jesus?
Yes.
That's a relief, because I thought I might have been...
There was a skateboarding Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I might have been imagining it, but there was a skateboarding... essentially Jesus. I'm not necessarily saying he is the Son of God reborn, who's decided to hang out at a comic convention in Birmingham, England, and had a skateboard under his arm at the time. But yeah, I kept on seeing him, and he didn't interact with anyone. He wasn't looking at any stalls. He was essentially just walking the earth a little bit with a skateboard under his arm. So I was mildly relieved when somebody else on the group chat was like, yeah, I saw skateboarding Jesus. It was like, oh yeah, it wasn't a hallucination. Sideline, never mind. Speaking of the production of Afterlife, hashtag get it trending. Thank you very much, social media. Jason Reitman has shared another Instagram post over the course of the last fortnight since we last spoke to you. And it's a shot of him and director Gil Keenan basically doing a bit of a Romeo and Juliet pose, in so much as we've got one of them standing up on a balcony, sort of gesturing down to the ground below, and the other one of them doing the opposite thing, but kind of looking up. And they even tagged the image "Star-Crossed Writers," which is interesting. Is that the first time that they've confirmed that both Reitman and Keenan are co-writing this?
I haven't heard that they were co-writing it before, so maybe.
Neither had I, unless I've missed it. But yeah, the caption is "Star-Crossed Writers," plural, and there's only two people in the photo.
Maybe Keenan's the main writer, and Reitman has jumped on for extra support.
Maybe we will see. But yeah, if you aren't following Jason Reitman on Instagram, give him a follow, give him a like, and you'll be the first to see the new photography that's coming off the set of Afterlife. I do like Afterlife. It's a really good shout, that one. We have two more bits of Ghostbusters news, and weirdly, both of them are about property, about real estate. Guys, I know we had a brief chat about this previously. Yeah. We might have to pool our resources a little bit, but it's been revealed that there is now an apartment that's become available at essentially Spook Central, at the building that doubled up as Dana Barrett's apartment. You can now get yourself a very modestly priced 8.35, because that extra $2.5 million might be the difference maker. $8.35 million apartment on the Upper West Side. It's on the 9th floor. You get 3,300 square feet, and you get a really, really stunning view of New York City. It looks pretty shamazing. There's an awful lot of Ghostbusters out there. I'm not sure there's enough of us to be able to pull together and source $8.35 million. But given the chance, guys, would you, if you were in New York, wouldn't you just be tempted to, kind of call up the real estate agent, put on your best I'm made of money sort of voice, and just be like, yes, I'd like to view the apartment, please?
Without question.
100%.
Without question.
Steal a bit of toilet paper.
It would make the best Airbnb ever for every Ghostbusters.
It would be a damn good B&B, wouldn't it? Airbnb.
You could do so much to it if you had enough money. Have staring into the fridge, into the depths of some otherworldly hell. You could have an armchair that just goes
Beautiful.
around the apartment with arms out of it.
Is he or is Theo glazing over? Because that is magical look in his eye.
Making plans. The man's making plans.
Yes, I don't have the money, but I wish
I don't have the money, but sleeping 4 feet above my covers.
Oh yeah, that would be a good thing as well. Also, you could go completely crazy and just make sure that if you had all the money and there was a garage downstairs, that the car that you could hire would be an Ecto.
Ooh.
It would resonate the world over.
Absolutely.
Damn, why are we wasting our time podcasting when we could be prepping for that?
Do you imagine how much the neighbours, though, would probably get really annoyed with the amount of Ghostbusters that are rocking up to view the apartment?
All in proton gear and everything.
Oh, God.
Sirens get up every 10 minutes.
The thing is, as a real estate agent, you can't take the risk, can you, of not showing somebody around just because they've got a proton pack on their back, because it could be a multi-millionaire Ghostbuster geek. You kind of got to take everybody on their word, right? That they want to, that they're seriously interested and that they could slap down nearly $10 million, and you've got to show these folks around. But Theo, I think your idea has got a bucket load of potential, dude.
You have to close off one of the bedrooms as well, because nothing happens in there.
Nothing ever happens in there. Yes! You see? Yes! The hive mind of fate, luck, and karma right there. Dear listener, if you are a closet billionaire, because, if you're a millionaire, we wouldn't want to take that big a percentage of your funds. But if you're a billionaire and you've got $8.35 million spare and you'd like to donate it to the Theo Wilson GoFundMe, let me make my own fantasy Airbnb in Spook Central, then you can reach him at hashtag
that's going to get trending.
Hashtag Theo's B&B, and we'll make the magic happen. And in a bizarre segue that we couldn't have planned more perfectly if we tried, there is another little bit of real estate, this time in Bristow, Virginia, which is a much more modest property compared to the apartment on the 9th floor of Spook Central. Fairly traditional US style sort of townhouse, really. It's got the hedge outside, it's got a nicely cared for lawn and all that kind of good stuff. And from the outside, it looks like a pretty normal American suburban home. But the description reads as follows. It says, "There is a very unique and fun hidden feature in the finished basement that you won't find anywhere else, and you'll have to see to believe." Gentlemen, of those of you that have checked out this story, could you summarize for our dear listener exactly what they could find in the basement of this modest suburban
It's almost
home?
like, I can explain it now, it's almost like a sexy corridor that's laden with a river of slime floor leading up to the Carpathian himself.
Sexy
That's
corridor?
the best way I can put it.
What on earth is a sexy corridor?
It just looks like a sexy corridor. It's like if someone was standing in that corridor, it'd be like, hey, you're sexy because of this corridor.
Oh, so it makes the person in the corridor sexy. The corridor in and of
Absolutely,
itself is not sexy.
It basically it emphasises everything around it.
Okay, so
I think
for context,
I think somebody's trying to remake 50 Shades of Grey, but with Vigo. I'm just saying it.
Wow.
50 Shades of Vigo.
For what was will be, what is will be no more.
There's a bit of fan fiction.
50 Slimes of Vigo.
Oh, all right.
But seriously, it looks like it's like obviously like a very high end interior decorators done the place over.
Done a fabulous job,
done a really
yeah.
Fabulous job. Don't tell me you wouldn't want it.
I'm not denying it.
Well, I mean, hashtag sexy corridor. For context, if you haven't seen it, there is a secret door. See, straight away I've piqued your interest, right? There is a secret door built into the wall. It opens up as a kind of, almost a sort of a jagged, sort of, as if part of the brick wall has fallen away. So it's not a perfect door frame. It's kind of like a jutting out bit of brick, and then it gets cut out a little bit. And so imagine if, I don't know, a superhero has just burst through your wall and kind of left a kind of jagged hole like they do.
Or the Kool-Aid Man.
And that
It's
leads
a bit like
you,
Harry Potter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like Harry Potter. And that leads you to the hashtag sexy corridor, which has what can only be described as a kind of a river of slime floor. Theo's just rubbing his head now. He's like, oh, my days. It essentially has a river of slime floor. And at the end of hashtag sexy corridor, on the listing at least, there is a giant photo of Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. And the guy behind it, you can find him on Reddit. He's Zackattack86 on Reddit. He said, quote, "I really can't take all the credit, because if it wasn't for my wife, my entire house would look like my hidden room. My hidden room. She picks it, I stick it, including colour schemes. Obviously, I have a thing for 80s and 90s metal and horror flicks, so I'm just glad that I found someone that allows me to be myself, but also isn't as dark as I am." Aww. That's kind of sweet.
So we can thank his wife for a sexy corridor.
In the basement.
With Vigo. I mean, he is a bit of a stud, isn't he?
There is a twist to this story, though. Did you guys dig a little deeper, so to speak, in the sexy corridor?
I did not do any digging in the sexy corridor, thank you very much.
Okay, so here's the twist to this particular story. The photo, the image, the photo that's on that real estate listing has been photoshopped. In the real world, there isn't a picture of Vigo at the end of hashtag Sexy Corridor. There's a quite slightly more disturbing painting of Satan. So for whatever reason, the realtors have decided that it would be more attractive to have a Ghostbusters 2 villain on the end of the wall rather than the fallen angel, Lucifer, the morning star, the 666, number of the beast, and all that. Satan. So, yeah, if you are indeed in the market for a clearly little geek dungeon with or without a picture of Vigo on the wall, then you can get yourself a lovely 8,500 square foot property in Bristow, Virginia. And when you rock up for a viewing, tell them that the guys from Fate, Luck and Karma sent you, because frankly, if we can get a little bit of a percentage deal on pushing the buyer that way, then we could maybe start funding Theo's Airbnb. Let's face it, all of these things are linked. It's all a great big circle. It's all beautiful.
And maybe let us know what painting you'd have at the end of your Sexy Corridor.
Nice, do that. Get in touch.
Would you have Vigo? Would you have Renaissance Ghostbusters?
Nice.
Or
would you have something entirely different?
My wife would go with Lucifer, though that would be not the traditional devil.
You'd actually go with Lucifer.
Oh, not the traditional devil. She would go with the one that goes, "Hello, detective." She's a bit of a fan.
Now, you see...
She's a bit of a fan.
It's an unaired Jerry Springer episode, isn't it? It's like, my wife went with Lucifer. But anyway. So, yeah, that is... the Ghostbusters news, the rather real estate heavy Ghostbusters news for the last 2 weeks. You are welcome.
It's time for a fun Ghostbusters fact. Before he became known as Slimer, our favorite green ghost was known as Onion Head. The name was taken from the 1973 Todd Rundgren song, Just Another Onion Head. It sounded like this. That was a fun Ghostbusters fact. You never studied.
Get it on your Spotify, gentlemen. Just Another Onion Head. It's a really weird, kind of trippy, late 60s, early 70s kind of song, and it's kind of divided in half. And the second half of it is, objectively speaking, much, much worse than the bit that you just heard. It's an odd song, but yeah. Fun Ghostbusters fact for you there. Go and check it out. Strangely catchy. Let's get him streaming. Let's get him on Spotify. Let's take credit for that as well. And
hashtag Onion Head.
Why not? I still think nothing's going to beat hashtag Sexy Corridor at the moment, but I'm willing to flood the internet. Let's break the internet with hashtags today. Speaking of breaking the internet, we need to say a quick hello to some of the folks that have been tuning in to listen to us from around the world. Actually, we are big, gentlemen, in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Hey!
Which is nice. Shouts out Raleigh, North Carolina. We are big in Los Angeles, California. I can only presume that some movie executive is listening to our dulcet tones and deciding what they really need for their next major movie are 4 geeky British Ghostbuster fans. Although, admittedly, it could all be because of Lee. Because, as we've established, he's the man of 1,000 voices. We are big in Massachusetts. We're big in Denver, Colorado as well, apparently. We've got listeners in Penticton, I hope I pronounced that right, in British Columbia. We've got listeners in Mexico City, in Indianapolis, Indiana, and of course in Slough. So yeah, we just like to say, wherever you are listening to us, Theo is throwing up the horns for Slough, the most Satan-fueled of all the venues there. Also, as well, because we didn't get around to it, we also need to give a shout-out to Salem, Massachusetts. to our listener, singular listener in Salem, Massachusetts. We spoke about this in a kind of a podcast that never quite made it to air. It was a little bit of a practice run. Things went wrong. I won't bore you with the details. But yeah, our theory at the time was that there was a coven of witches that were checking us out just for one episode. They've only listened once, which probably says more about us than it does about them. And they, I think, were probably a coven of witches and wanted to make sure that we were only interested in busting ghosts and we were never going to catch or go and bust witches. So now that they've decided that we're not a threat, they're not listening anymore. So yeah, on the one hand, yay, no curses, good times. On the other hand, I really liked having a listener in Salem, Massachusetts.
There could be witches, some evil witches, which is ridiculous because witches, they were persecuted, wicked, good, and loved the earth and women power, and I'll be over here.
I really want to know if anyone else in this group other than me gets that reference. Come on, guys. Buffy the Vampire Slayer's musical episode once more with feeling. Oh.
Do you know I've never watched that?
You gotta watch that episode.
I used to watch Buffy, but I never ever watched the musical episode. I'm sorry.
If my voice isn't as it is now, I'd have probably joined in with Lee on that one. But top marks, mate. Good reference. Good reference. All right, cool. So let's take a quick look now at the big Ghostbusters question for this episode. As always, brought to us by our wonderful and getting slightly more sentient by the episode AI. Ray Stantz.
It's time for another big Ghostbusters question. Since we've already heard that an apartment in Spook Central is up for sale for a cool $8.35 million, and that a home in Virginia went viral after photos of its Vigo-inspired basement appeared in a real estate listing, our big Ghostbusters question is, if you could create your own Ghostbusters-inspired room, what would it be? Obviously, any answers that include me, my bookstore, or my house with 3 mortgages get bonus points from this AI Buster.
It's an easy one.
Yeah, you've got to have some reference to Ray's occults, regardless. It's got to be there. You have a shelf with your occult books on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ray's mini occult.
I'd go for the garage.
I'd have full-blown lockers, fireman's pole, even though it won't go anywhere. But you could make it look like it's going to go somewhere. Probably front or rear end of the Ecto. Probably the rear end, so you could open it and there'd be proton packs in there. Probably.
A containment grid that you open up and it's actually a mini fridge.
God, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that could be the fridge.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I think I need that in my life now.
In fact, one of the lockers could be the door out of the room.
Ooh, I like that.
You have to step through the locker.
You can have bubbling slime pots around.
Bowls of Stay Puft marshmallows.
Jackie Wilson on constant loop.
The mini puffs. They'll drive you mad, won't it?
Yeah.
I think it's one of those. It's.
I mean, you'd have to have the dancing toaster.
You would have to have the dancing toaster. I think the mini puffs. The initial idea of having them around, I think, is marvelous because they're cute. They're borderline psychopathic. They mainly only hurt one another, but over time, when you're I don't know, trying to put a disc in your Xbox and you find that you can't because there's a melted mini puffed inside it, or. I don't know. You're trying to find your keys, and they're not there because the mini puffs have stolen them again.
And they're in the dancing toaster.
And you don't want to put metal in a toaster. That's a bad thing. Public safety announcement: don't put metal in toasters, folks.
Yes, of course.
No, important safety tip. Thank you, Dean.
Hey, throwback. I think. Do you know what? For me, it would kind of depend on if it had a basement. If it had a basement, then I think pretty much the only thing I'd need down there is a containment grid. I just like the idea of going downstairs and having essentially a mock-up of the containment grid blinking away. Always green, obviously, nothing bad happening, no danger.
Has to be green.
But yeah, a nice replica.
Would you have to go down a sexy corridor first?
Yes.
I mean, when given the opportunity or when given the choice to either yes to go down or no, not go down the sexy corridor, much like when you were asked if you were a god, the answer is always yes. Yes, go down the sexy corridor. Hashtag Sexy Corridor. This has been a rather unexpected episode for me because I didn't think we'd be, number one, creating a whole bunch of different hashtags. Number two, I didn't think Lee would be busting out, obviously, semi-obscure songs from a Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode. That's nice. I didn't think we'd be determining Theo's career change and basically deciding that he's now going to run an Airbnb in New York City. I don't know how your partner's going to take that, Theo.
GB.
GB. Nice.
I mean, if we did have to relocate to New York, I don't think she'd complain.
Love it. And the franchise rights alone would make us rich beyond our wildest dreams. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening wherever you are, whether or not you are in Salem, Massachusetts or not. You are, as always, very, very welcome here at Fate, Luck and Karma. Don't forget that you can give us a follow and a like. We are on Instagram. You can find us and indeed the rest of our merry little band of West Midlands Ghostbusters. Oh, we should say hi as well to some of the folks that have joined the West Midlands Ghostbusters since listening to our podcast. So if that's you, welcome. Great to have you on board. So yeah, give us a like and a follow on Instagram. Find us on Facebook under the West Midlands Ghostbusters. And of course, if you are listening to us on Spotify, don't forget to like and subscribe, or indeed any of the other podcast platforms that you may find us on, because we've managed to weasel our way into basically all of them, which either says an awful lot about the entry requirements that are set these days. I guess the standard is pretty low with regards to who they'll let on their hosting platforms now, because apparently the four of us can just rock up and be like, hey, can we do a podcast, please? And they're all like, yeah, go on then. We'll list you.
Go on.
But yeah, we have made it to the end of the show. My voice has kind of held out, but I would like to give a special thank you to Jay, to Lee, and to Theo as well for their infinite patience in this episode, filling the awkward silences when my voice has just kind of gone, nope, this isn't working anymore. Nope. As always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Fate, Luck and Karma. You have given us half hour, and we have given you the Ghostbusters world. You've been listening to me, Dean Riley, along with
Lee Lawrence,
Jay Wood,
Neil Wilson,
and Shufat Janaya Doubtfire.
She rocks up now. We could have had her throughout the whole show, and she rocks up at the very end. Damn it, Lee. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Hashtag Sexy Corridor. Get it trending. See you next time.
Hashtag Sexy Corridor.
Bye.